No, man. Disco de 168, área 213, Super 365. Here's right where we were.
Welcome to another edition of We Bald Chefs. I am Bald Chef Kenny. Today we present to you a famous dish from Laos in Thailand called Pad See Ew, otherwise known as Phat So Lee. It's a Chinese influenced dish they eat a lot in Southeast Asia, predominantly Thailand and Laos. And this is my take on it. It's a very basic, simple dish with nice, wholesome ingredients. Now, the central point of this dish is the rice noodle, otherwise known as chow fun. That's what we're using here. We're letting the fresh chow fun noodles soak to get a little bit more of the oil out. We're going to rinse them out here in a bit and show you how that's done. Generally, you want to use Chinese broccoli or North American broccoli will do just fine to make sure it's fresh and green. For the purpose of this show, we're using the North American broccoli. In other editions, we will be using Chinese broccoli. I'll show you how to prepare that. It's really simple. Choice of meat. Today we're using tofu. As it is, I am vegetarian. Yes, I know. Bald Chef Michael doesn't like that. So fresh basil, which is what I add in my pad see ew. A lot of people might not agree with this or might be surprised, but like I said, that's the way I make mine, is how I get down. Garlic, brown sugar, got some peanut oil here. We got a combination of dark and light soy sauce, and then fish sauce, which is essential to this dish as well. I use vegetarian fish sauce, which is very sour. It's not necessarily about the fish, it's about the sourness and the saltiness of this actual dish, pad see ew. Now, one thing I'd like to mention too, I'm not adding any additional salt because between these three daddies right here, we got a lot. Next up in this dish, what we're going to do is we're firing up the wok. As you can see, it's already getting nice and hot here. High flame. Luckily for us, in our dwelling, we have a gas range. It's essential to cooking. I cannot cook on an electric range. I've tried. We're going to add a bit of peanut oil, maybe about a tablespoon or so. Just enough to coat the pan. Faithful wok here.
Is that just for sticking or flavor as well?
Well, for both, but you'll see what we're going to do. It's just we're just going to cook up the broccoli and get it nice and hot. But back to the rice noodle. We've had it soaking in warm to hot water for about 10-15 minutes. We're just going to dump it in there. We're not going to rinse these noodles out. I want a little bit of oil left on there so they cook better in the wok. Okay, so my recommendation to you is do not rinse noodles. Now, if they're fresh, you just got them from the market, they haven't been refrigerated, there's really no need to really soak them unless you want to. But I choose to soak mine because that's just the way I make this dish. By now, our wok is extremely hot. We're just going to fire up, get this broccoli a little bit cooked, get it nice and green. What I do is dump a little bit of water at a time. Let it fire up a little, get it steamed, get it nice and green and cooked. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dump it out back in a bowl and continue on with the rest of our dish. Okay, so now it's time to check our broccoli. It's been cooking on high heat and sealed in the wok for, what would you say, Bald Chef Michael, about 2-3 minutes?
About 2-3 minutes, correct.
Okay, so let's take a look at it. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the greenness of that broccoli. It's cooking up nicely. Like I said, yeah, a little bit of water just to steam it. So I just put it aside. You want to just cook that broccoli up just a little bit. I like to leave my heat on. And what we're going to do next, we're just going to get right down to it. We're going to add a little bit more peanut oil. your wok's so hot at this point in time that, you know, honestly, you don't need to let it preheat or anything. You just need to dump your garlic in there. And what I do is I just dump, at this point, I dump my basil in there. Let the oil soak it up. No matter an orthodox part of my way I make pad see ew, I dump the roots in there.
Yeah, so you just took the recipe and made it your own.
Pretty much, you know, let it soak up all that flavor. You throw your tofu, whatever meat you want. You use sliced chicken, beef, even sausage, it doesn't matter. You know, it's your choice really what you want to use in pad see ew. Okay, so we're just going to cook that up here. Let it steam, let those flavors get all soaked up. As I was taught by my brother to clean as you go, cleaning as I go. I'm getting all my sauces here ready to go. And moving along, you look over here, you see that, you know, we pretty much rinsed it out, getting the excess moisture out, the noodles. What you want to do now, just dump your noodles in. The reason why we're doing this is to pretty much steam the noodle and let it cook together with all other ingredients that have already been in there sauteing and frying up. So we're going to give that a whirl for a couple of minutes and we'll be back to finish this out. Okay, so it's been a couple of minutes, everything's frying up in here. You can tell, look, you see that, Bald Chef Michael? The noodles are cooking nicely.
I do.
Smelling all that goodness?
That smells outstanding.
Okay, so don't try this at home, but we can take those roots out now. It's pretty much permeated through the dish. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this with some of the brown sugar.
Nice.
Just a little bit of dark soy sauce, just to give it a little bit of color. Some light soy sauce. It says a lot of sodium, so that's why I don't add any additional salt.
Right.
Tablespoon or two of some fish sauce. Throw our broccoli back in. What we're going to do, we're going to stir things up. Noodles are sticking nicely. So, yep.
And that smells amazing.
Yeah, you see how the color is all throughout. That's why I use a combination of both. But again, the sodium content, just use it as you know, as you desire, the amount of soy sauce and fish sauce. All right, well, we'll be back here shortly to see how everything turns out. So that was my take on pad see ew, and as you can see, it's very easy to make. You don't need really like extravagant or alien ingredients to make this. I know a lot of other Thai and Lao recipes call for that, but not here. So let's take a little taste real quick.
Good?
Not bad, Bald Chef Michael. And for our viewers out there, just remember you can always add on more soy sauce or fish sauce to your liking. Depends on how salty you want it, but in my case, this is all right out.
Damn, that smells good. Bastard.
Hello, man. Área 213, Super 300.